What is still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain.
Welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you, John Rhodes. John, let's talk about these reptilians. In the biblical days, when, they said the devil came, and the description is kind of close to some of these reptilians. Is it possible that these demons, these devils, might be the reptilians?
I believe entirely that might be the case, because we have to see it from their historical point of view. They didn't know the term alien, or they weren't thinking of things that God could have created other than themselves.
Genesis chapter number 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So now, are we talking about a snake that crawls around on the ground, or are we talking about something far, far bigger than that?
Yes, sir.
The Hebrew word translated serpent here in Genesis chapter number 3 is nakash. Nakash. Look that up in a lexicon or a dictionary. Look it up very carefully and read what you have to say. Some of them will say serpent. Some of them will say snake. Some of them will say a shining, mysterious creature. A shining, mysterious creature. A creature that is upright on two legs. Ezekiel chapter number 28. Ezekiel 28 verse number 13. Look at this carefully. Ezekiel 28:13. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Thou who? Who are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the anointed cherub that covereth. Verse 14. I have made thee so, God said. So we're talking about a cherub that was in the garden, verse number 13. And note carefully what it says about this cherub. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, the onyx, the jasper, sapphire, emerald, carbuncle, gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. This is a beautiful creature, no question about it. So if God says that this creature was in the garden, I have to say that this must be the Nakash of Genesis 3 and verse number 1. And I also must say that there must be something far, far greater going on here than simply this serpent approaching Eve, or this Nakash approaching Eve, and it certainly was. We know there are 5 cherubim. He said in Ezekiel 28, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. We have one cherub that represents the reptilian aquatic branch of the creation. The face of a lion, the face of an ox, the face of a man, the face of an eagle. That's what we find in the book of Ezekiel, chapter number 1 and chapter number 10. These are the faces of the cherubim. What is a cherubim? It is one of the most mysterious creatures in all the Bible. And we know that the 5th cherub, this is Satan, this is the anointed cherub, showed up in the garden to beguile Eve. Notice carefully, he comes as a serpent. This serpent has something to do with the fact that he's connected with wisdom.
Don't worry. Huh? Your father will forget all about it.
Joy, remember that angel we saw in heaven? The bad one? He's here, in Eden. And I think he can shapeshift.
Will you tell these fools I'm not crazy? Make them listen to me before it's too late! Listen to me. Please listen. If you don't, if you won't, if you fail to understand, then the same incredible terror that's menacing me will strike at you!
They come from another world, spawned in the light years of space, unleashed to take over the bodies and souls of the people of our planet, bringing a new dimension in terror to the giant super scope screen.
Whatever intelligence or instinct it is that can govern the forming of human flesh and blood out of thin air is fantastically powerful, beyond any comprehension. Listen! Listen! Listen to me! They're not human! Can't you see? Everyone! They're here already! You're next!
Every spacefaring race has two things in common. First, they all have a food identical to what humans call Swedish meatballs. Don't ask, I don't understand it. It's just there.
The visitors didn't just get here. They've been here for years.
What have you done to them? I've turned them into creatures far superior to man. They are now dinosaurs, just like me.
Our ideal of vision.
Excuse me.
Just survive.
You know, you look like your head fell on the cheese dip back in 1957. You're okay. This one, ugly. Oh. You see, I take these glasses off. She looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face. That's what we got.
That's enough out of you. You get out or I call the cops.
Call the cops? You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
Ugly.
They've come to rape our planet and kill us. They are not who they appear to be. This is what they are!
Ladies and gentlemen, this commercial is going to use subliminal advertising. That means you will never see or hear the name of the product. Oh, it'll be there on the screen all right, but the naked eye cannot detect it.
The reptilians can control you. They were manipulating people using frequencies, mind games.
What is still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain.
Now, did you notice that I did not instruct you to do so, but you all deliberately switch your brain into a visual mode to process that question? Well, guess what? The mode you are into right there is the native mode of the reptilian brain. And that's the next stimuli. Remember I said the reptilian brain is also called the pre-verbal brain. It's a brain that does not understand words, because the old brain is way older than words. But the reptilian brain is a brain that understands pictures.
You gonna pay for that or what? Look, buddy.
What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated. They're pulling the water.
Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market. Quid pro quo,
Yes,
Clarice.
we have capitalism and we embrace it, and they
Then they don't,
yes,
Clarice.
We have, yes,
Clarice.
we have.
Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death.
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some
outside the limit of our sight, feeding off us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners. Our owners. They have us. They control us. They are our masters! Wake up! They're all about you, all around you.
Maybe they've always been with us. Those things out there. Maybe they love it. Seeing us hate each other. Watching us kill each other off.
Don't be frightened. We mean no harm. Please accept our apologies. We're truly anguished by the turmoil our arrival has caused. This is a momentous day. Until now, we believed we were the only intelligent life in the universe. We're overjoyed to find that we're not alone. Until then, we are of peace.
Countries. We're one united people. Yes, humanity is a rare gift. One we hold in the highest regard.
For decades, they've been implementing a plan that will result in the extermination of every man, woman, and child on the face of this earth. These posing as humans established themselves in all facets of life, whether it be business, government, religion, the military. It took years. And once embedded among us, they set out to cause worldwide instability. Unnecessary wars, economic meltdown, faith twist.
The long-awaited trial for the 2012 Colorado movie theater massacre began today with opening statements more than 1,000 days after what became known as one of the worst mass shootings in our nation's history.
I saw one guy with his legs gone at the knees, some ankles and feet missing.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
Inaugurated, my hand would just, it'd still be hot from touching the Bible, and I would immediately race to wherever they have the files about Area 51 and UFOs, and I'd go through everything to find out what happened. Right. Did you do that?
That's why you will not be president.
There are a lot of people that are going to examine your facial expressions here, every twitch, everything, and say, and of course, so did you look? Did you see? Did you explore?
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really? Because President Clinton said he did go right in, and he did check, and there was nothing.
Well, you know, that's what we're instructed to say. That's what we're instructed to say. The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue. It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things. And, you know, and you know, look at him trying to...
We've all heard that Lady Gaga is a part of the Illuminati, but is she a reptilian? While viewing her famous worldwide video, this is what I saw. Notice the bumps on her back. Stage makeup or true reptilian scales? Revealing these strange bumps as she flashes the Illuminati symbol. And if the rumors of the Illuminati secret society is true, they're responsible for billions of deaths of children and small infant babies. I find this quite odd that a popular pop star like Lady Gaga would think that this is funny in any kind of way.
This guy.
Do some Born This Way, Lady Gaga.
Now it's not an egg, is it? It's a vessel. Is that what you call it?
It's a vessel, and I said, okay.
Okay, it's a vessel, and you were in there for like a couple of hours.
I was in it for 3 days.
3 days. Wow.
What a surprise.
Go hot. Oh, so seriously, guys, unless you want to see me blow chunks, can you wait till I'm gone? Sever the umbilical. Cutting.
Was it cold in the egg or the vessel?
It was temperature controlled.
Temperature controlled. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Actually, it was inspired by humanoids,
Okay.
alien, sex humanoid hybrid woman.
My favorite.
There are eggs. It's like a nest of eggs kept down in that part where it's warm. It's very warm down there into this entrance, and these eggs are kept down there incubating, and they are the reptiles' eggs.
Born This Way is the new single. Tell us about the album.
Oh, I love the album so much, and it's about being able to know that when you were born, you weren't just born in that moment. You have your entire life to realize the person that you're potentially going to become, and whoever you choose to be was part of your destiny.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging people to know that if in this moment you don't feel entirely happy or secure in who you are, or you feel bullied or disenfranchised, it's never too late to harness your confidence and your inner superstar and say, I was born this way. The performance we did last night at the Grammys was, and what we've been doing with the egg and the rebirth, it's meant to signify an artistic statement of birthing a new race, and of birthing a new race, a race within the race of humanity.
Clearly, you've never been to Singapore.
What's the nation? I mean, appreciate you. You know, and I'm just thankful. And I know so many people will.
What happens when, take the Queen Mother as an example, what happens when they shapeshift? I mean, what do you see?
You start to see changes happen, and they're happening so fast that it's almost, it's the closest thing that I've seen to it is what they're now doing with computer technology. It's just a literal transformation that happens very quickly, and they get taller and they get bigger, and they don't look at all as reptilians like they do as humans.
They couldn't stay in that little building, and the whole place began to shake, and they walked out in the street. Hallelujah! Hey! Bashoda galibamba and it's about to happen again.
Who's the biggest failure in the Bible? Who's the biggest failure in the Bible? God is. God is. God is.
What you said? Ora della brevivia. Doesn't matter what they think. The Williams the Williams the Williams
All right, we'll see what we can do here. Okay, so
I don't do it through debates. I don't need to debate any Christian. I was a Christian. I am a Muslim. If you want, I can give you both sides. Easy. I will ask you if you delivered the message. I'm standing in between the kitchen. The Muslim give the answer. That religion and the Father.
If this ain't disturbing, I don't know what is. This is supposed to be Jesus, and I use the word supposed to be. And these people sit around this thing like an idol. And this is a close-up picture of Jesus right here. It's supposed to be Jesus. And I went and looked at it closer. And I don't know about y'all, but this looks like a reptilian head. I mean, look, you got the eyes, and then you got the mouth, and, you know, here the brain, the skull. But this is a close-up picture. Looks like a straight-up reptilian Jesus, and this, I mean, what is this? And going back, it looks like skulls and demons and stuff coming out from the pits of hell. And this is what they sit around.
Brussels, on April 7th, the second Common Law Court of Justice session convened. The first one, if you recall, the one that convicted Joseph Ratzinger and Queen Elizabeth for crimes against humanity in Canada, the genocide of Indigenous people there. That led into the second case having to do with global child trafficking. The chief defendants being Jorge Bergoglio, President Pope Francis. Things I've been hearing just completely blew my mind. These eyewitnesses, for example, who sat in on meetings with Jorge Bergoglio planning the child trafficking of political prisoners, the children of those prisoners in Argentina during the dirty wars. Two women who witnessed the serial rape and torture of children by former Pope Benedict and Jorge Bergoglio themselves, according to this thing called the Ninth Circle, which is apparently a child sacrificial cult operating within the Vatican and has for several centuries. And other information related to how this global child trafficking is continuing very much through the Catholic Church and its various agencies. And so it's been not only an amazing time for this stuff to come out, but in response, we've had an increasing number of people come forward. Here in Spain, I've been meeting with two different groups who have been leading a campaign here on behalf of the over 300,000 people who, as children, were trafficked by the Catholic Church here in Spain, where literally the children were stolen by priests and nuns, Their parents were told they had died, and then they were trafficked for between $60,000 and $80,000 each. We estimate the Vatican made over $20 billion over the last 50 years here in Spain alone through this illegal child trafficking. Basically, this magisterial privilege, according to documents, is that every pope was to be expected, as part of his initiation, to be engaged in these child sacrificial cults, which involve the ritual slaying of newborn children or young children and drinking of their blood, because it evokes a certain spiritual power and control over the human race to do this, according to their sick thinking. And this is something that Bergoglio himself was involved in, according to these two women who witnessed it.
What we're going to see is, I believe that the photographers are interrupting this part of his hologram. This side of his face is going to expose the reptilian. We're going to go through. There's a flash. His hologram is breaking up. You can see here the green on his head, the breakup of his mouth and nose, the color of the other side of his face has changed, frame by frame. There, his eye has turned black.
And they'd also drug them up, and they'd take a sacrificial knife and they'd start from the chest and move all the way down to your abdomen. And then that's how they sacrificed, and they'd collect the blood and they'd drink it. When the mid-September through mid-November, they sacrificed babies, and nothing but babies, because they need the pure blood of the untainted children. And I didn't understand what it was like. I just can't believe I'm seeing this every year of my life. I've experienced that, and that was the hardest part for me. It's like hearing those babies literally scream and cry, and then seeing their blood flow. The little boy was taken to a basement. He was crucified alive. First he was skinned. Why is it that no one knows this? Because there's Satanists in the police force and also in the government, the army. They're everywhere. They're even on the council of the representatives of the United States also. And they're silenced because this is not being exposed, because they don't want it to be exposed. Because they're really good at lying and hiding things.
In order to walk among us, they disguised their appearance by cloning human flesh over their own reptilian skin. They disguised their appearance by cloning human flesh over their own reptilian skin. I thought everyone here was up to speed. But the visitors didn't just get here. They've been here for years.
You know, one of the crazy things when you do these live Q&As is some of them are very silly. So we got one. Mark, are the allegations true that you are secretly a lizard? I'm gonna have to go with no on that. I am not a lizard, but you know, keep the high quality comments coming in, please.
Some people think I'm an alien. Not true. Not true.
Скажите, пожалуйста, только честно, вы инопланетянин?
Нет, у меня есть доказательства и свидетели в лице моих.
Now, the question on everybody's lips today seems to be, where is Vladimir Putin?
President Putin unexpectedly disappeared from public view for several days.
Perhaps he's fallen victim to a Kremlin coup and is being imprisoned inside, or maybe he's even dead.
Vladimir Putin has been the center of media speculation this week after disappearing from the public eye. However, a group of school children may know where the Russian president is. The Ukrainian students made a cartoon featuring President Putin being abducted from the Kremlin by aliens.
In March 26, 2015, the respectable and authoritative German newspaper Die Welt published an exclusive interview with Lyudmila Putina, former wife of the Russian president. She divorced from him in 2013, but according to her story, that Putin is a body double, who took over real Putin after he was assassinated in 2010.
My husband, unfortunately, has long been dead. I have to admit it publicly, because I could no longer see what is happening on his behalf. 1 month before the death of my husband, they came at night without warning and took him away. They also said I had better not to talk about that with anyone. Later I learned that the murder of Vladimir had been prepared beforehand. He was eliminated when the first body double was almost ready to take his place. In appearance, he was of course very much like Putin. I was impressed. But that was a completely different person.
According to CNN, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is who he says he is. Buhari has denied claims that he died and was replaced by a clone.
Somebody assumes that I'm cloned.
She wrote on her Facebook post last December 3 that President Rodrigo Roa Duterte of the Philippines is actually an alien imposter, a reptoid alien, to be exact.
Side of yourself in this,
No,
exposed?
because
No.
there is no me, no self. Jim Carrey is gone, actually never existed, and I know that now.
Now, can a regressive entity take over a human body? The answer to that is absolutely yes. And the process is actually very simple. They abduct someone, they bring him to death very slowly, and the moment his last breath, his essence, leaves the body, they replace it with another.
Well, night, everybody.
Thanks, Senator. Take it easy. Good luck next week.
What? Bob Dole doesn't need this.
What's happening? Is it noon already?
Ah.
Oh no, aliens, bioduplication, nude conspiracies. Oh my God, Lyndon LaRouche was right. America, take a good look at your beloved candidates. They're nothing but hideous space reptiles.
I saw them turn into a reptilian. I actually saw the reptilian.
Momentarily it looked regular size, but then it went back.
Oh, it's starting to go back. Look.
And it's back to regular, just with a couple of blinks.
What is that?
100% organic human sleeves. You're probably wondering what's a human sleeve. Well, if you gather around, I can let you know what we do here in full details. So here at Psychosec, we've been able to achieve true immortality by taking your human consciousness and storing it on a device called a cortical stack.
Can you explain that quickly one more time?
Yes. So here at Psychosec, we produce 100% organically made human sleeves. Here is an example of the two. So the whole point of this is to have your conscious mind but in a different physical body. Let's just say if your child gets hit by a car and dies, you'd be able to retrieve him back but in a different physical being.
Exposed? Because there is no me, no self. Jim Carrey is gone, actually never existed.
And His Royal Highness Prince Charles, who can trace his ancestry back to Romania's dark and distant past.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, you see. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
As it were.
I am Dracula.
Prince Charles and Dracula, two names that don't seem to go together. However, the Romanian Tourism Board is playing up a connection between Prince Charles and Count Dracula. Last year, the prince stated in an interview, "Transylvania is in my blood. The genealogy shows I am descendant of Vlad the Impaler, so I do have a bit of a stake in the country."
Vlad Dracula, otherwise known as Vlad the Impaler, thanks to his favorite method of executing people.
Dracula means son of dragon.
He is also an ancestor of the British royal family.
His father, Vlad II, was a member of a secret society known as the Order of the Dragon.
Vlad Sr. joined the knightly society known as the Order of the Dragon, and upon his induction, he was given the surname Dracul, which is a derivative of Drac, meaning dragon in ancient Romanian. However, in the modern Romanian language, this means devil. His son was given the name for son of Draco, that name being Dracula.
Sons of the Serpent.
There is an elitist group of people who definitely believe that regardless of the form and structure of your government and your country makes no difference to these people, and they are not tied to one country, they are everywhere, and they believe that they have been given the birthright, whatever, to rule over men.
The propagation of this race that is controlling things on this planet they're called the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are actually run by these 13 bloodlines, which are all of the royal families in Europe and in England. And they need the blood because they are, in fact, not human. They take human shape. They are reptilians. And they need the blood. The blood helps them maintain their reptilian shape, and it helps them maintain their sanity, and it helps them to live in this world because they are not from this world.
Queen Elizabeth II of England admits she's not human and that we will learn to accept her for what she is. British media reports criticized Vladimir Putin during a 2014 visit to the Queen because of his refusal to help the monarch down the stairs and because he generally keeps his distance from her. But 2 years later, Putin has revealed why he kept his distance from Queen Elizabeth at the gathering. He told close associates and aides that he was alarmed when the Queen showed her true reptilian bloodline colors by shape-shifting a number of times while he greeted her. He claimed the Queen shifted between reptoid and human form 3 or 4 times while meeting with Putin. According to Putin, when the Queen revealed her underlying reptilian nature by shape-shifting, her face turned scary with evil-looking slit eyes and a long, dragon-like snout. Putin said that when Obama held the Queen, her hands turned reptilian green and scaly, and when she smiled, she revealed sharp and spiky reptilian teeth that glistened evilly. Putin accused the Queen of shape-shifting repeatedly as a warning not to mess with her as the high priestess of the world-ruling reptilian Illuminati clique. Princess Diana confided in her friends about the reptilian queen. Christine Fitzgerald, a brilliant and gifted healer who was a close friend and confidant of Diana for 9 years, was one person to whom Diana told stories of the Queen Mother. Because of Christine's understanding of the esoteric, Diana was able to talk to her about matters she would not dare to share with anyone else for fear of being called crazy. Her nicknames for the Windsors were the Lizards and the Reptiles, and she used to say, in all seriousness, "They're not human." Diana used to tell me, she says, quote, "Diana used to tell me that the Queen Mother was evil," end quote. And these are Christine's own words, quote, "The Queen Mother," now that's a serious piece of wizardry, "the Queen Mother is a lot older than people think. To be honest, the royal family hasn't died for a long time. They have just metamorphosized. It's sort of cloning, but in a different way. They take pieces of flesh and rebuild the body from one little bit, because it's lizard, because it's cold-blooded. It's much easier for them to do Frankenstein shit than it is for us. Don't think of people like the Queen Mother and Queen Victoria as different people. Think of them as the same person, which, after a while, has had to replace their coat. When the flesh dies, that energy, while it's dying, will be immediately upped by someone else's jacksy backside. It's all very vampire, worse than vampire. According to the witness, Prince Philip and Queen Mother then shapeshifted into reptiles. Diana was told that if she ever revealed the truth about them, she would be killed. There are various reports of people saying Diana was about to reveal this information before she died.
No, I don't. No.
Why do you think that?
I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts, in people's hearts. But I don't see myself being queen of this country. I don't think many people would want me to be queen. Actually, when I say many people, I mean the establishment that I'm married into, because they've decided that I'm a non-starter.
Why do you think they've decided that?
Because I do things differently, because I don't go by a rule book, because I lead from the heart, not the head. And albeit that's got me into trouble in my work, I understand that. But someone's got to go out there and love people and show it.
And do you think that because of the way you behave, that's precluded you effectively from becoming queen?
Yes, well, not precluded me, I wouldn't say that. I just don't think I have as many supporters in that environment than I did. Yeah.
You mean within the royal household?
They see me as a threat of some kind. And I'm here to do good. I'm not a destructive person.
Why do they see you as a threat?
I think every strong woman in history has had to walk down a similar path, and I think it's the strength that causes the confusion and the fear. Why is she strong? Where does she get it from? Where is she taking it? Where is she going to use it? Why do the public still support her? When I say public, you go in and do an engagement and there's a great many people there.
And the Queen Mother was there, and I called her the Black Queen. The Queen Mother, all I could pick up was that for some reason that there was a malevolence towards Diana. And Diana I had never seen at a ritual. I wondered what she knew about all of this.
What have you seen the royal family do, the Queen Mother, and the other people you've seen in the rituals? What have you seen them do?
I've seen all of them drink human blood and consume human flesh. She is very cold in reality, and she is very cruel. She obviously, from what I see, enjoys consuming human flesh. It's sickening to occupy or take. When it was young, it ages, but when they take the reptilian form, these reptilians live hundreds of years, and so they have to have taken more than one human body to live in. A lot of them are much, much older, and I'm including the Queen Mother in this, older than people think that she is. She's been in more than one body, human form. And then they have these children that they're kidnapping and bringing in from other countries, and no one misses them because these are third world countries. And children they have the most energy, the purest energy, they're the highest form of sacrifice.
Within the human experience, the finest and the most pure form of Lush came from pre-adolescent children. In satanic rituals, that pre-adolescent children are used primarily in certain satanic rituals because of they give off the most pure form of emotional terror that you can imagine. From our point of view, it's perverse. From their point of view, it's filet mignon. This is the best form of food that we can get. But children are primary source.
And they have hanging pins where they then kill them again astrally in these hanging pins. I think they probably are raping people while they're getting ready to be hanged, because that is tremendous fear, and they ingest that energy. They will torture little children in front of their parents so that they can get that energy. I mean, there's no depths that this race will not stoop to. They have no compassion.
Doesn't your culture say anything about mercy?
Madam, you are speaking to the kindest and gentlest of us all. Let's see. Skull crusher, skin peeler, eyeball popper, scream collector. Got it.
My question was actually about children and the disappearance of children, if you're willing to talk about it.
I've said so much about that already. I know that I have been blasted about that, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely know what I know about the missing children. We have become a natural resource. Very much how we've used cows. We use cows and other animals. We ourselves have become a natural resource. The younger ones are the most desirable because they're not tainted with chemical poisons in their bodies, because they're young. That's all I'm going to say.
They don't want us to know that we are being eaten on the other side. That was the biggest secret. That was the one thing that you don't hear about, because they want us to be in the game.
We'll be killing every human in 2 days. We'll be killing every human in 2 days. We will cook them, we will eat them, 'cause that's the way to treat them.
I eat children. How old are you?
12.
Oh, okay. Only to 10.
Only
to
that's
10.
good.
Okay, we're safe.
That's good.
Children and pineapple.
Children and pineapple.
I eat children.
No one can seem to agree on anything anymore except for two things.
Pizza and us.
And us.
My name is Roy, and and for the most evil invention in the world contest, I invented a child molesting robot. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll speak up. It's a robot that is designed to molest children, and I call it Robo Chomo. You see, it's powered by solar rechargeable fuel cells, and it costs pennies to manufacture, and it can theoretically molest twice as many children as a human molester in, quite frankly, half the time.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Make way for the Queen.
I shall take the first bite. It is quite an honor.
What's that? Part of your magnificent behind. We sliced it off when you were sleeping. It does look delicious.
They're carnivorous. They are not friendly to mankind. At least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes.
and they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children. You know, and we've been told you shouldn't talk about that. You know, there are other people say, well, you better not talk about the reptilians. Well, you know, bull. You know, why not? According to the Andromedans, they're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food. And I'm supposed to just shut up and not say anything about it because people don't want to hear it? That's tough. That's tough. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen? And why should people stay in denial about it?
Now, how are they able to do this? How are they able to? How are they able to? How are they able to do it? How are they able to come up out of this from underground and do it, or do they have?
There are tunneling systems everywhere. They're being helped by the Greys, and also there are groups within the higher echelon that are actually helping them acquire this.
So human beings are abducting the kids and giving them to the Greys, who in turn give them to the Alpha Draconians?
That's right. That's part of the deal. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves.
They are used as actual blood sacrifices. During these rituals, because of, again, reptilians needing their blood, the blood will be gathered in a goblet, and it will be dispersed among the reptilians. But what they need is, for it to be secreted in the blood, is they need terrorization of their victims before they are killed for their blood. And they have to terrorize them to get this to come out in the blood and be secreted in the blood. They are killed at that moment as they are staring into their eyes. Oftentimes they will just rip into the victim and eviscerate them and start eating the flesh of this person too. And the fat from the intestinal area is highly valued, as they use it on their skin. And they drink the blood, and the blood is highly sought after, and it goes according also to rank within these creatures. I have seen at rituals, I have seen George Bush, I have seen Henry Kissinger, I have seen Ronald Reagan, I have seen Tony Blair there, I have seen Hillary Clinton before I knew she was Hillary Clinton at the time. At these rituals, she is involved. The Queen there, I've seen Princess Margaret there, I've seen Charles there, and they shapeshift.
European royals are killing naked children for fun at human hunting parties. See, there's elitists, and then there's the people that work for the elitists, and it's all just so sick. I can't figure out who's worse, the people that work for the Satanists or the people who are the Satanists, because guess what? They're both doing the same kind of evil acts, whether they think they are or not. Let's read through this article here. Editor's note, Shepard and Bellis of IntelliHub. I just want to say that there is no way I can confirm this story. I can kind of confirm it for you because you got rock stars coming out and saying, I've been to some of these snuff parties where elite people go and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to watch children be sacrificed, to watch people be murdered. It is important to remember that there is a long history of elites partaking in strange rituals, mock and even potentially real sacrifices, as seen at the privately held Bohemian Grove event, which takes place every summer deep inside a California redwood forest. This is one of a series of articles taken from eyewitness testimony before the International Common Law Court of Justice in Brussels. 5 international judges are examining evidence of child rape, torture, murder, and kidnapping allegedly done by global elite members of the Ninth Circle Satanic Child Sacrifice Cult Network. But it just doesn't make any sense. How has this been going on for so long? The only way I can come up with it is like lawyers are involved too. Satanic lawyers wolves in sheep's clothing. That goes for America too. Regular ninth circle child sacrifices were said to take place in the catacombs of Catholic cathedrals, the Vatican, on private estates, and groves and government military bases in Belgium, Holland, Spain, Australia, Ireland, France, England, and the US. At least 34 child mass grave sites were identified in Ireland, Spain, and Canada, and refused excavation by their respective governments, Crown of England and Catholic Church, named as present in the Ninth Circle activities were Pope Francis, former Pope Ratzinger, Anglican, United Church of Catholic Church officials including cardinals, members of European royalty including Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, officials of the Canadian, Australian, UK, and US military and governments, that includes lawyers and everybody down the totem pole. Teens were drugged, stripped naked, raped, hunted down in the woods, and killed by European royals, according to this week's latest eyewitness to testify before the International Common Law Court of Justice in Brussels. The woman was the fourth eyewitness to give accounts about these human hunting parties of the global elite Ninth Circle satanic child sacrifice cult network.
So there are changes going on in the earth. It seems they're not able to hold their shape like they once were able to, and people see them shapeshift more and more, and they need the blood to try and maintain it, to try and maintain their human form. I believe there's a time coming that because of what I've been told, when they are not going to bother having to hold that human shape as they had to before, and they want that time to come. They are what Christianity would have called the demons.
There are politicians running this world right now that one day they'll step down from the kings and the queens and the presidents and the parliamentarians, and they'll go to hell one day. Hell is full of kings. Hell is full of queens. You live in an insane society, for there is no fear of God in their eyes. Yea, he said, I warn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him that hath power to cast into hell fire. The Bible said in Matthew chapter number 23 and verse number 33, these words came from the mouth of the Lord Jesus Christ. He said, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell? He said, ye generation of vipers. He said to them in Matthew chapter number 23, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? In plain words, all that enter in are condemned. You're condemned. Hell is the place of condemnation. The condemned are those that have been tried. He said, "Ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell?"
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.